Good day, students. Today we are starting with differentiation. Differentiation in mathematics is the process of determining the increase in two different variables. Maybe like y and s, or maybe the population of a country, the growth of population in a country, maybe with respect to some time, maybe first year and second year or third year. You can use differentiation to determine the rate of growth of this particular population. Not only that, engineers can also utilize differentiation to compute the areas of different shapes, most especially when the shapes have irregular shapes. They can also compute the areas of different shapes using differentiation. So differentiation can also be used in other fields of study, even like in economics, to determine the rate of demand and supply. All this can be done with help of differentiation. Now, let us come home. Differentiation in mathematics is done with respect to two variables, mostly the y and the s. So, the y is the dependent variable and the s is the independent variable. For example, if I say the volume of a sphere is computed with the formula V is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. The volume of a sphere is computed with the formula V equals to 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, V is a variable and R is also a variable. So, V and R, these are two variables. Pi here is a constant and 4/3 is also a constant. So, here now we now say V is determined by whatever value R obtains. So that's why V is called the dependent variable. V is the dependent variable. While R is the independent variable. Independent variable. Okay, so I've just said that. So with increase in R, it also affects the increase in V, in the volume. So that's why V and R, they are the two variables. So differentiation is done when there are two variables, one in respect of the other one. So in this case now, V is the dependent variable because the value of R is the one that will determine the value of V. So that's why V is known as the dependent variable, whereas R is the independent variable. It's okay. So, coming to mathematics. We normally say if y is a function of x, let's say y is equal to maybe x. Let's say x n y. Let me say y equal to axn. Y equal to asn. Therefore, the increase in y over increase in s, that is small increase in y over small increase in s, that one is called delta y all over delta x. So this one becomes, so this one is now, we now say n times a, then x again, then n minus 1. So this is what we mean by dy ds. Therefore, dy ds, this one is equal to a n x n minus 1. Hereby, a is a constant. A is a constant. Then also n is also n is a constant. Now, so in this case now, if our a is 1, if our a is 1, therefore dy over dx, this one becomes n x n minus 1. So this one is the standing formula for differentiation with first principle. So n is the index. So what it means is that we multiply the index. We multiply the index by the coefficient. Multiply the index by the coefficient, and we subtract 1 from the index. That's differentiation. Differentiation in words is multiply the index with the coefficient and reduce the index by 1. So that's what we have this one now. So for example, let us give an example. If y is equal to 6x cubed, if y equal to 6x cubed, if y equal to 6x cubed, so what is dy dx? So dy dx, dy all over dx, this one becomes 3 times 6, 3 times 6, then times x to index 3 minus 1. So this now becomes 3 times 6 is 18, then x to index 3 minus 1 is 2. And that's the answer. So dy dx of 6x cubed is equal to 18x squared. Now, I give another example. If y is equal to 4x cubed plus 7x squared plus 3x plus 2. If y equal to 4x cubed plus 7x squared plus 3x plus 2. So what is dy ds? So dy ds, using the first principle now, dy ds is equal to d over ds of 4x cubed plus d over dx of 7x squared plus d over dx of 3x plus d over dx of 2. Okay, so this now becomes, so now do this step. So 3 times 4, 12, that is 12x squared plus 2 times 7, that is 14 ox. Then 2 minus 1, 1. That's 1. Then plus divide the s of 3s is 3. Now divide the s of a constant is 0. Therefore, all becomes 12 ox squared plus 14 ox plus 3. And that is the final answer. That is if y is equal to 4 ox cubed plus 7 ox squared plus 3 ox, then plus 2. So divide the s becomes 12 ox squared plus 14 x plus 3. Okay. So this is a first principle. Now we can use other methods. That is the differentiation of a function with respect to another function using maybe product method. Using product method. Using product. Thank you for watching the video. We shall continue the next method by the subsequent classes. Try to like and subscribe.